Our very first speaker is the president of FRC Action and the Family Research Council. He'll be preaching on Sunday morning, by the way, in the Palladian Room for our church service we do every year at 9 a.m. For now, he comes to bring the 2014 Values Voter Summit to order. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tony Perkins.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning. Well, on behalf of the Family Research Council and all our sponsors and partners, we welcome you to the 9th Annual Values Voter Summit. And we welcome folks from across the country who are tuning in by television and the web. Now, one might be tempted to think that this is a going-away party for Eric Holder, but it's not. The next 3 days are designed to challenge you, encourage you, and equip you to return home and redouble your efforts to take our country back. Now, I'm happy to announce this morning that we have a strategy. We will continue building a conservative coalition, a winning team, that despite occasional setbacks, like the last 6 years, we will never surrender to the forces of statism and political correctness. Now, we hear almost every day that conservatives are on the wrong side of history, that we want to turn back the clock. You know, I see it differently. We stand for what the clock cannot measure, for that which is timeless and eternal. You know, today's left has developed a genius for division, masquerading as unity. They have heralded an age of diversity while championing a stark uniformity of opinion and politics. And so bold are they in this strategy that in order to stifle their opponents in the political arena, they are even ready to rewrite and limit the First Amendment of our Constitution. What they propose to do in this area of campaign finance goes hand in hand with what they have been willing to do and have succeeded in doing in the civic sector. They have attacked gifted individuals in the communications industries and universities in Silicon Valley, everywhere from Chick-fil-A to Gallaudet University and dozens of others, tarring and feathering them just for daring to disagree with them. In fact, there was a smattering of leftist groups, many of them funded by George Soros, who took out an ad in the Washington Post this week calling on elected officials to refuse to speak to you, the values voters. Why? Well, remember, these are the same groups that support Harry Reid and his efforts to rewrite the First Amendment. But it's real simple. The truth stands in their way as they seek to fundamentally transform America. So they want to silence you and millions of Americans like you. But here's the difference between the left and the right. We welcome the debate. We support their right to speak. We believe in the First Amendment. In fact, many in this room have put on the uniform of our nation's military to defend their right to speak. I submit to you that it is not time to rethink our principles or shrink back from the conflict. No, now is the time to reaffirm our beliefs and redouble our efforts and to stand for the values that made America an exceptional nation. Yes, Mr. President, America has been an exceptional nation. But in so doing, we must renew our mutual respect and reaffirm the necessity of each component of true conservatism. A free and growing economy, a national defense that is second to none, and traditional values are indispensable and mutually reinforcing. What unites us as conservatives is that we understand the meaning of liberty and the price that generation after generation has paid for it. We understand the irreplaceable role of character in the human drama. We understand the dangers of government that grows ever larger while becoming ever hungrier and even more jealous of any institution that rivals or diminishes its influence. We here today, as the value voters, we will defend the American dream, and we will define the future. Thank you for being here and for being a part of the Values Voters Summit and for being a part of taking our nation back. America is worth fighting for, and we will stand for the truth. Well, I am so excited to introduce to you our first speaker of the 2014 Values Voter Summit. This is a guy who keeps me glued to C-SPAN every time he's on. Maybe it's because he is a two-time NCAA Division I wrestling champion, because he knows a few moves. I've watched him. He puts it on those bureaucrats. Congressman Jim Jordan represents Ohio's 4th Congressional District, and he sits on the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee. As a member of that committee, you've probably seen him several times grill the IRS commissioner on the disappearance of Lois Lerner's emails. And last week, as a member of the important Select Committee on Benghazi, he asked, quote, what's it going to take for the State Department to put in place the practices that are going to save American lives? I am so glad that we have men and women like him on Capitol Hill working hard to get answers and to get justice for the American people. Please welcome my good friend, Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio.